Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Echo Podcast, where we make English simple and enjoyable. I'm Harper, and today it's just me, you, and a warm cup of something nice. Wherever you are in the world right now, take a slow breath, get comfortable, and let's spend this time together. So, this is part two of our most used phrases series. If you missed part one, that's okay. You can listen to it later. There's no homework here, no pressure. Today, we're going to look at some everyday phrases that native speakers use all the time. And the best part is, they're simple, really simple. You probably already know most of the words. The goal is just to hear them, feel them, and slowly make them yours. Let me start with a little story from my own week, because honestly, that's how I like to learn too, through real life. A few days ago, I had one of those mornings. You know the kind. I woke up late, my coffee machine made a strange noise and just stopped working, and then I checked my phone and saw some news that was not great. Nothing huge, but still, it was bad news. And here's our first phrase: bad news. We use it for any information that makes us feel worried or sad. Good news, bad news. Very simple. You can say, I have some bad news, or sorry, that's bad news. It just means the message is not a happy one. And honestly, that morning, the broken coffee machine, that was the worst part. Coffee in the morning is a big deal for me. So you could say, the broken machine was a bad thing. A bad thing. That's another phrase we use constantly. A bad thing is just something negative, something we don't like. It's not dramatic, it's gentle. The traffic was a bad thing. The rain on my day off was a bad thing. You can use it for small, annoying stuff or for bigger problems. Now, while I was sitting there with no coffee, feeling a little sorry for myself, I started thinking, and I realized something. There are actually some bad things about loving alone. Notice that phrase, the bad things about something. When you want to talk about the negative sides of a situation, you say, the bad things about it are. The bad things about living in a city. The bad things about working from home. So, the bad things about living alone, for me, are simple. Nobody fixes the coffee machine but you. Nobody else is going to do it. It's all on you. But you know what? I'm not going to complain too much. Because of that broken machine, I actually walked to a little cafe near my house. And here's our next phrase: because of. We use because of to give a reason, but we follow it with a noun or a situation, not a full sentence. Because of the rain, we stayed home. Because of you, I feel better. Because of the broken machine, I went outside. So, because of that small bad thing, something nice happened. I love when life works like that. Let me tell you about that cafe, because there's a phrase hiding in this story too. When I walked in, the smell of fresh bread, oh, it was wonderful. And I want to begin with the coffee because that was the main thing. Begin with something. To begin with something means to start with it. When you tell a story or make a plan or eat a meal, you can choose what comes first. Let's begin with the good news. I'll begin with a small example. To begin with, I ordered a coffee. It's a soft, natural way to say, this is my starting point. And while I was standing in line, something made me smile. There was a little boy with his grandmother, and he kept asking, are we going to get cake? Are we going to sit by the window? And there it is, our next phrase: be going to do something. We use be going to when we talk about plans or things in the near future. I'm going to call my friend later. We're going to watch a film tonight. It's one of the most useful phrases in English. You're going to use it every single day. See what I did there? You're going to use it. That's the phrase, working naturally. Now, that little boy and his grandmother, they reminded me of something sweet. The way he held her hand, the way they laughed together, it made me think about my own best friend. A best friend is the person closest to you, the one you trust the most. We all have that one person, or maybe two. My best friend lives in another city now, and I miss her. But when we talk, It feels like no time has passed at all. That's what a best friend is. Distance doesn't really matter. She actually called me later that day, and we had the funniest little disagreement. She loves bright, colorful clothes, big patterns, bold colors. And me? I'm more simple. My whole closet is basically black and white. Black and white. We use this phrase for two things. First, literally, the colors. My clothes are black and white. But we also use it to talk about things that are clear and simple, with no confusion. Some situations are black and white, right and wrong, easy to understand. But most of life is not black and white. Most of life is somewhere in the middle, full of gray areas. So this little phrase has two lovely uses. Remember both. Anyway, my friend and I made a plan to meet next month. She's going to drive to my city. And the first thing she asked me was, "Where do I leave the car?" And this is so relatable because finding a place for your car in a busy city is always stressful. The place where you leave your car is called a car park. A car park. If you're learning American English, you might hear parking lot instead, but car park is very common in British English. There's a car park near my building. The car park was full. Such a useful little phrase for real life. Then she texted me to confirm the details, and of course she used her phone, which gives us our next phrase, cell phone. Your cell phone is your mobile phone, the one you carry everywhere. In British English, people often just say mobile or mobile phone. In American English, cell phone is very common. My cell phone is always in my hand, honestly. Maybe too much. Where's my cell phone? I can't find my cell phone. We say it all the time. And in her text, she asked me a question. She said, "Where exactly should we meet?" And I told her, "Let's meet in the city center." Now, here's a lovely phrase, city center. The city center is the middle part of a city, the busy area with shops, cafes, offices, all the action. Let's meet in the city center. The city center is always crowded on weekends. And notice we usually say in the city center. In the city center. That little word in is important. I'll be in the city center at noon. We're meeting in the city center. Try to remember it together as one piece. In the city center. While we were texting, she asked me something kind. She asked, "Where does this coffee come from?" Because the cafe had a special type. And come from is our next phrase. Come from. We use come from to talk about origin, where something or someone starts. This coffee comes from Brazil. Where do you come from? I come from a small town. It's one of the first phrases many of us learn, but we use it for our whole lives. Where do you come from? It's a warm, friendly question. People love to answer it. Now, let me paint a little picture for you, because there's one more phrase I want to share from that day. When I finally sat down with my coffee, a man came into the cafe. He came into the room, shook off his umbrella, and smiled at everyone. Come into something. When you come into a room or a place, you enter it. You walk inside. He came into the room. She came into the kitchen. The cat came into the house. It's simple movement, from outside to inside. He came into the room. Such an everyday action, and now you have the phrase for it. So, sitting there, watching all these people, I started thinking about how different we all are. My friend and I, we're so different. And there's a beautiful phrase for this. Differences between A and B. The differences between two things, or two people, or two places. The differences between summer and winter. The differences between my friend and me. We talk about differences all the time. The differences between living in a city and living in the countryside. Whenever you compare two things, this phrase is waiting for you. The differences between A and B. And here's something honest I want to share with you. Learning a language, it can be hard. It really can. Some days the words come easily, and some days they just don't. It is difficult for someone to do something. Let me explain this one slowly because it's so useful. We use it is difficult for someone to do something when an action is not easy for a person. It is difficult for me to wake up early. It is difficult for him to speak in front of people. And yes, sometimes it is difficult for us to learn a new language. There's a shorter version too. Difficult for somebody. This is difficult for me. Mornings are difficult for her. But the full phrase is, it is difficult for somebody to do something. And I want you to hear me say this. Yes, it is difficult for you to learn English sometimes. That's normal. That's human. But difficult does not mean impossible. You are here, you are listening, and that already tells me something wonderful about you. So let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about it. What is one thing in English that feels difficult for you right now? Maybe it's speaking, maybe it's listening, maybe it's just finding the time. Whatever it is, I want you to remember that difficult is just a step on the road, not a wall. You're already walking. Keep going. And if you feel like it, tell me in the comments. I read them, and it means a lot to hear from you. Now, before we finish, let's do our little recap. This is the part where we slow down and remember a few of the phrases together. No pressure, just a gentle review. I'll say each one. You can repeat it quietly if you like. Bad news. Information that makes us worried or sad. I have some bad news. A bad thing. Something negative or unpleasant. The rain was a bad thing for our picnic. Because of. Used to give a reason, followed by a noun. Because of the traffic, I was late. Begin with something. To start with something. Let's begin with the easy part. Be going to do something. A plan or near future action. I'm going to rest tonight. Best friend. The closest, most trusted person in your life. She is my best friend. In the city center. The middle, busy part of a city. We'll meet in the city center. Come into something. To enter a place. He came into the room. Differences between A and B. The ways two things are not the same. The differences between tea and coffee. And our last one. It is difficult for somebody to do something. When an action is not easy for a person. It is difficult for me to wake up early. That's 10 lovely phrases, and you carried them all the way through with me. I'm proud of you for staying until the end. You know, when I started today, my morning felt like a small disaster. No coffee, bad news, a broken machine. But because of all those little bad things, I ended up at a cozy cafe, talking to my best friend, watching strangers come into the room, and noticing all these beautiful little phrases hiding in an ordinary day. Life is funny like that. Sometimes the not-so-good moments lead us somewhere good. So here's my gentle wish for you. This week, try to use just one of these phrases in a real sentence. Just one. Maybe you'll say, I'm going to study tonight. Or, this is difficult for me, but I'll try. That's how a language becomes yours. Not all at once, but one small phrase at a time. Thank you so much for spending this quiet time with me today. If this episode helped you, even a little, please subscribe to Native Echo Podcast and give it a like. It really does help us reach more lovely people like you. Share it with a friend who's learning English too. Maybe your best friend. Take care of yourself. Be patient with yourself. And remember, every word you learn is a small victory. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.